Okay, on the table today I've got another OS FS-20 engine here that I'm going to be disassembling for cleaning, and this one is going to be actually cleaned up, have her bearings replaced, gaskets replaced, and then it's going to be sold. And unfortunately for most of the people watching, this engine has already been spoken for before it's even really been featured. I'm just checking here to see if there's a gasket in here. I'm not feeling one. Now this engine came to me as part of a really incredible eBay deal that I happened to stumble upon. I'm not going to say how much I paid for the stuff in that deal, but it was enough to make you say, really? Okay. It's enough to make you spit your coffee out if you had been drinking coffee. So that was a good sign. I like the way that felt and sounded. That felt and sounded like it's never been opened before, because I've always been curious about whether these actually had gaskets in here or not. Because they sell gaskets, or I know an eBay gasket person that sells gaskets for these, but whether these actually came with gaskets on the intake manifold is not something I can tell you off the top of my head. Okay. Now I got a lot of blue going on here. I got blue gloves, I got a blue. I put the blue thing here just because it's probably a little bit easier to see what's going on here. So I don't see a gasket there. I don't see a gasket there. So does that mean that there wasn't one, or was there evidence of one there? I don't know. So that's off. I'm going to take this carb completely apart and clean all that stuff up too. Let me find the right bit for this screw. That fastener, I mean. So I can take the choke mechanism off. Now this did not come with the rod, the choke rod, but I do have one somewhere laying around here that I will include with this. Wow. Yeah, these have never been broken loose before. So this engine, despite however much runtime it has never had bearings replaced. I'll tell you that. It's never been apart. I'm anticipating this to be a rather low time engine. Definitely needs some cleaning up in there. I don't know if you can hear the gurgling, bubbling sound in the background. That is my ultrasonic cleaner heating up, because these parts are going into it. At least a lot of them are going into it as soon as I'm done here. This one might have been a good candidate for dropping in the Marvel Mystery Oil vat before disassembly, but honestly I didn't think about that. Of course that would pretty much crud up my new solution of cleaner though too. Prefer the cleaner just get all the gunk off of it and not have oil in there also.
Remember in the old days, years ago, when I used to do the reveal on the head? Well, here's the reveal.
This is a very low time engine. So the gentleman that's going to be getting this is going to be rather happy about that, I believe.
Looks really nice.
I might as well leave that out. I'm going to put that in the ultrasonic. So here to pull this camshaft out, I usually use a little set of pliers to reach in there and pull that out. Before that, you have to get this one cam follower up and out of there. At least up and out of the way. Might actually have to heat that up because that feels like it's stuck. Cam follower feels like it's stuck. Yep, I'm gonna have to get my heat gun over here. Didn't really want to have to get this thing hot. I can just move it up enough to get it out of the way, but it feels like it's really stuck.
Instead of having bearings, these FS-20s
Have a single ball. You do not want to lose that. I'm going to heat this up again. Oh, you know what I can do now? I can see how loose this thing is by just pushing that camshaft or cam follower down. It's really stuck. Now the other one, the exhaust one, is not so stuck. Or the intake, it came right out. Oops. This exhaust one. Oh, there, it's out now. Was stuck. Okay, let's see if this is... Now I'm going to grab a popsicle stick and see if I can slide this sleeve up. I may have to heat this up a little bit more before that's going to want to come up. Yeah, I'm gonna have to heat that. Have to heat that up quite a bit to get that to want to come out. I don't know if any of that oil is going to actually migrate between there or not, but there we go. That's going to be rather warm. Now, that buddy of mine, Jay, who just refurbished my other one, made me a 3D printed connecting rod removal tool. And for the life of me, I put it someplace, I don't really know where it is. I really would like to try to use it.
Okay, I found the connecting rod removal tool that
Jay had made for me, so I don't know if it's going to work for this small engine or not. But in theory, this thing should just come right out. Okay, after about 5 minutes, I finally got this piston to come out. So the reason it didn't just drop out was, I'll try and show you, is when the wrist pin gets really gummed up like that, and it will get gummed up, there's just no two ways about it. The piston doesn't want to flop back and forth like that, and I think that's part of what helps facilitate this thing coming out. That son of a gun is blazing hot right now. So the next thing I'm going to do here is, I need to get this drive hub off. But it's such a tiny one. And it's not held on with a collet. It's just barely there. It's got just a half cutout on there. And I had somebody come to the door. I had to go and wish I could just grab that, pull that thing off. The case is still really warm. Get my vise here and see if setting it here in this will help provide a little bit better stable platform for this thing to sit on. See, things like this are not supposed to take like minutes of video time. They should just happen. So it helps if you remember which way you're supposed to be turning the screws. Damn it. See, that's all it was supposed to take. It's just nothing. Nothing at all. I'm going to need this to get that bearing out. The crankshaft out. Yeah, those bearings are... See if I can get that more in the sight range here. Just putting some 3-in-1 oil in here. Then I'm going to heat up the crankshaft again. Shouldn't take all that much. I'm just going to put this wood block on here. And there's the crankshaft and bearing. Now I just need to get a little thing in there to get that bearing out. What can I use for that? I think what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go in here and just catch the side of this, inner side of this bearing. Just kind of tap this thing. Just catch the side of that bearing. Motivate it to come out here. It's a little bit more lube. It's starting to move, but you can see it's almost out now. Just that slight little tap. All it takes to get these front ones out. One more little tap and it's out. Okay, bearings are out. All right. So this engine is now ready for the ultrasonic cleaner, except for the carb. And I need to get the rear bearing off. So here's my method. I don't think I need this anymore now. My method for getting the rear bearing off is I just stand it up here and I just put a nut driver right on a side there. And that crankshaft is rather warm. And I just kind of start walking it around. And the bearing should just start coming off. Just like that. I move the counterweight around to the cutout, rotate it around so I'm hitting on the bearing in a different spot every time. So it's not coming off cocked. And there it goes. That's the sound you want to hear. There's this little collar on here too that should come off in the ultrasonic, hopefully. So now I can go and put these parts in the ultrasonic. I'm going to leave the valves in here because they don't look like they have any buildup on them at all. And I'm going to check and see if there's a gasket in this head so that if it comes off I don't lose it in the ultrasonic, and there was. So I'm going to go put these parts in the ultrasonic, not that, not that. I don't usually ever put the sleeve in, but I'm going to put all this other stuff in because see this piston is, that's still really, The ring is nice and loose. So let's go put these parts in the ultrasonic and see what they come
out looking like.